All right, hi everybody. Welcome to another Prog Report monthly reaction video. We are doing June a little bit before the end of the month because there's a bunch of new music that I wanted to get to, and we were able to get a bigger crew for the first time on this one. I think we got Vic, Dan, and Kyle. Hello, gentlemen. What is up?
Thanks for having us.
Hey, yes, what he said.
Always a pleasure. The more, the merrier. And yeah, nice backyard there, my friend. Okay, so 6 songs that we're gonna cover. We'll jump right in. The first one is one that I'm very excited about.
Yes.
This was announced a few days ago as we're doing this, between the Buried and Me new record deal with Inside Out Music, which is very cool, and new album called The Blue Nowhere, which comes out in September. And they dropped the first single called Things We Tell Ourselves in the Dark. I could not fit the whole title there on the bottom. This song's I think this song's amazing. It's a contender for Song of the Year for me, and it may be my favorite BTBAM song at this point. I just think it's just the coolest thing ever. So it goes through a lot of parts. It's really long. I'm just going to show a little bit of the beginning, and then I'm going to cut towards the back half of it, which I think is really cool. Then we can talk about it. All right. So I'm gonna jump right in to this.
Let's go.
Never heard what was said to weep alone in this racing madness. Pretty is at the mall, grandest trailer. Rushing like precision to rid me of concern. The empathetic creatures are hunted for reward. It's sordid. It's boring. Prosperity.
So that's sort of like the verse. I just want to show a little bit because it's an important part of the song. Musically, that's just insane and super cool. But I'm gonna skip to the back half, which is like this groovy section in the chorus, which I just love this.
Great chorus.
To
Anyway, I'm gonna fade it there. It goes a little bit longer, but
Man, that
it's the
that part.
coolest thing, man.
Well, you almost have Dan Briggs has almost like the Geddy Lee sort of riff that you hear on. It's either what is it, The Thing That Should Not Be, or Don't Touch My Thing, whatever instrumental that they used to have. And Richardson is just locked in. This is awesome. It's BTBAM in all of their glory, plus a bunch of other crazy stuff. I absolutely love it. I am so excited. 2025 is just an impossible year.
I just think
get
it's a
everything in.
mix of styles and things that you just don't ever hear,
No,
and it works
Yeah.
so well together. And I
It's,
know you guys don't like the growling. It's not growling's never my favorite thing, but the way it's placed here in between sections, it just helps that dynamic of it, and it makes it so much more effective. I just think it's badass.
yeah,
Yeah,
I agree.
Go
I
ahead,
think
Dan.
I'll get used to the growling on this. I was never big into BTBAM, though I respect them a lot. I think the problem is I never gave it the time it needed. I never checked out so many of those albums. Upon Roy's insistent request that we should listen to this as one of his favorite songs of the year and all that, I did listen to it a couple of times, and it's great. Like that second bit that you just played with the, I don't know,
Well, it's got that NXS guitar part. That's how that guitar part.
Oh,
Yeah.
That's a good reference. Yes.
Tonight kind of thing.
yeah, the Hotline Miami, the synths and the bass, it's super warm and all that. It's just a lot of fun and like mixing different elements there. It's great, man. I'm excited to hear, like, is the rest of the album like this? Is it more one thing than the other?
Yeah.
Is it very like, I don't know. It piques my interest, and I think it's super creative, which in our style, in our niche, is always valuable.
I think.
Yeah,
I,
and you got to find
You're gonna
something new
love
to
it.
do with it. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
I wish I liked growling more, but it's awesome. I mean, they're the most ADD band that exists, and the way that they're playing the bass sounds incredible. That drummer is amazing, Blake Richardson. Yeah, I don't love growling, but hey, whatever. What does it matter?
It is what it's part of what they do. But this has the best sort of normal sing-along chorus I think they've ever had in a song. Right,
Yeah.
Vic? I can't think of one that
Well,
is more than this one.
Coma Ecliptic had a couple of singable choruses, and Automata had a couple of singable choruses as well. But this, the chorus on this one seems to be very catchy. They tend to stay away from like repeatable, catchy stuff. That's part of their ADD sort of thing.
Yeah.
But
What's funny about this song is I skipped a lot, and it's not fair to do that, but
Yeah.
we try to do it
Yeah.
to save time on this. But the chorus appears in like the first minute and a half, and then not again until like 5 minutes later. So
yeah, they
you know,
have crazy song structures. So it's
yeah, it's
it's-
very, very cool. So anyway, that album comes out in September. By the way, we should mention the band is now just a 4-piece. Dusty, the other guitar player, is not on this album. It's Paul Wagner doing everything on guitar. And then Dan Briggs is so involved in production, everything. And Tommy is, of course, the singer, and he's amazing. So,
But touring
anyway,
touring with them is from sometime
Tristan.
in February.
Tristan, the guitarist from sometime in February. He's their second guitarist on tour. Yeah.
Which
That's
I am
crazy.
psyched for.
yeah,
I'm
pretty cool.
psyched for him. That's great,
Amazing.
All
Good
right. So moving on.
dude. This is amazing. Wow.
So we're, if you followed our podcast, at least Dan and myself for sure are humongous Deer Hunter fans. And this sort of dropped out of nowhere. They've been on tour, and they dropped a 5-song EP called the North American EP, just without any warning. It came out one day on streaming, and then they've released this video for the track called Magic Beans. I've checked out the EP. I'm having a hard time really connecting with it like a lot, like their stuff that I usually do.
Yeah,
It's
I
a
know
bit
what you
more.
mean.
It's a bit more
little
kind of
all the-
simplistic for them.
It
right?
reminds me a lot of the stuff in like the Color Spectrum albums, which it's not super direct. It's like musically it sounds great, and there's lots of very fun little bits and stuff. But I think it's one of those little EPs that you need to spend some time with. And
Yeah, I gotta
even
sit
though
with it a bit more.
yeah, like as soon as it came out, it showed up on my streaming page, and I just checked it out. But nothing screamed at me like this is the Deer Hunter I love, you know, that kind of thing. And
That's how I am with it too. A little
and maybe
bit,
that's the reason they're just releasing it as an EP and not like a full-fledged album, you know.
I read a little quote from them saying that they knew it wasn't going to be any part of like their conceptual stuff that they do, and they just had these songs over time, so they just decided to put it out, which that's fair enough. I mean, I'm not saying it's bad. It's just not. It's
no, I know what you mean. It's like more like
or
B-sides and
it's
and
what it sounds
stuff.
like. Yeah,
Yeah,
this
but
one's
it's
pretty
fun,
cool
man.
though.
I love hearing his voice and the way that they compose. It's just one of the best things ever for me. So getting more of it is great. And the reason I didn't share with you because you were like, thanks for sharing. I just discovered this
I
now.
was kidding.
Was like,
No, it's
dude, they sometimes just like re-release, like they re-released Migrant last year. I thought maybe this was like a re-release of something like some old material that I never heard of or something like that, because they wouldn't just release an EP with new songs out of nowhere, except they
Yes,
did.
they-
but
Except that they did. Yeah.
But they did.
yeah, but
So, well, let's check out a little bit of this track, Magic Beans. I'm going to skip a little bit into it.
yeah.
Despite of all that ails us, we keep prevailing, even if the darkness doesn't call for the dawn. The tragedy's alive, you gotta keep on shining. It feels like a lifetime. So what will you grow now from these magic beans? Prepare 'cause your mind starts to stampede into the sky, lifting you higher than ever you dreamed that
I mean,
Nah, I
it
still
sounds
love
great.
Yeah.
Right? I mean, he always sounds
Yeah.
good, and the harmonies are always good, the melodies are always good. If this song was in the middle of one of their epic albums, I think it would probably be just fine, right? It sounds great.
Yeah, that's what I got from listening to this little bit again. You
So
know?
what's not good about that? I like that. That was great.
No, it's just it's a 5-song EP that just normally when they present stuff, it's sort of some kind of concept with more
Okay.
elaborate stuff, and this was just 5 songs that were just sort of they're just 5 random songs.
You know,
And
these
that's
guys-
all I'm saying. It's
It should be growling. That's what it is.
You're
Maybe
right.
The thing
We're
that caught
missing
me
that.
the thing that caught me about this was that dynamically speaking, it's a pretty constant thing as far as the melody and the instrumentation. You know, Deer Hunter, you're used to just such a drastic dynamic change for all the arrangement
Yeah.
of their intricate songs, and this doesn't seem to be at that level. But
Yeah.
you know, it's
You know what's a crazy tour I saw that was down here? I don't think you came with me, Vic, but down here the Deer Hunter actually opened for Between the Buried and Me
Mm.
at a
Oh, wow.
show,
Wow.
and then the third opening band before Deer Hunter was Leprous.
wow.
So it was
No,
a crazy lineup.
No, I was not there. It's
Yeah, amazing. I mean, Deer
Yeah.
Hunter and those bands makes no sense, but very cool
Hey.
anyway. In any case, this EP is out now. North American EP out on streaming, so you can check it out if you like it. And then this video, of course. Moving on to Lunatic Soul, which for people that aren't familiar is Marius Duda from Riverside. It's been his long-running side project that is basically basically him and more electronica type stuff. I do occasional singing. Sometimes it's instrumental. Again, newly signed to Inside Out Music for the Lunatic Soul stuff. There's no album announced or anything. This was simply to announce his signing with the label for the next upcoming album, whenever that is. And he released this song along with it. Very cool song. There are vocals on this, so we can go ahead and check this out.
One more threshold crossed, and once again I fall to my knees. You ask me what my inmost pain remains unseen. But I'll be ready now to face up to your
I
That
don't know
sounds
how
pretty cool.
familiar you guys are with the other Lunatic Soul albums, but I don't know. I feel like this song is a little heavier and maybe proggier than the rest of it. Like the previous album, there's a lot of folk stuff in it, and of course, he does the odd meter every now and then. Like this, I think is 9 or maybe 12 in some points, but
Hmm.
overall, like I feel this is darker. It's kind of different direction in
Yeah.
this, and
Th-
it kept me wondering about like the end of Riverside that we saw at the
Yeah.
cruise, you know,
Yep.
and like if he's gonna inject some of the more heavy stuff into this, how he's gonna operate that.
Dan, interesting you said that. I thought in all the Lunatic Soul stuff that I've heard in the past, this had the more Riverside-ish
Yeah, I agree.
tendency. It's almost like I'm waiting. I've heard the song from start to finish, and there are points where I'm almost waiting for the drums to kick in with a
Yeah,
little
the
bit
drop.
more
Dun,
push.
yeah.
Exactly. And his vocals. Overall, my view of this song, it kind of stays the same. Mario's vocals on this absolutely kill
Sounds
it.
great. The
It's-
production's
it's what
phenomenal.
makes
Yeah,
it.
it sounds
Absolutely. Absolutely. Shout out to Jeff Bailey. I know that he likes this as well. So
Don't tell the people that. They're gonna be like, not worth checking out.
You know what? No,
This is Jeff Bailey approved.
it is a cool song. It doesn't, it's not the type of thing where it's now going to go to another part that's going to have a musical change and like solos. It's not that kind of music, but for what it is, very cool track. I mean, yeah. So some of the Lunatic Soul stuff I've liked very much, some more than others. So I think about 10 years ago there was an album called Walking on a Flashlight Beam, from about 10 years ago. That was really good.
Mhm.
So, cool. Mario's is great. So hopefully there's more coming from that. We'll check it out when it does. Okay, next up, I wanted to revisit this again. A to Z. We talked about them a few months ago, I believe, but the album A to Z Squared is out now, just came out finally. They
Wait,
released
wait,
a video
wait.
for...
Isn't it technically A to Z? I'm being dead serious.
Are we in America? I don't know.
No, I think
Isn't it
technically
Z?
that's not what they call it.
I'm
Sorry.
not in America, so to me is I don't even know.
Here.
To Z. Whatever.
I thought for sure.
Regardless, if you want to call it A to Z, call it A to Z. But
I don't want
that's
to. I just
I think it's A to Z. That's as much as I know.
You know what
but
we should have done? We should have been just saying A to Z this whole time.
this whole time.
And let
Sorry.
people just,
For people not in the know, this is Mark Zonder is the Z in this, former from Fate's
Zen.
Warning, and the singer is Ray Alder from Fate's Warning as well. The second record for this band. They're the only two same members. But also on this album is Nick Van Dyke from Redemption, Simone Mulroney from DGM and a bunch of other
DGM.
bands, and a couple of other guys on bass and guitar. I forget their names, so I apologize for that. But this is the third single called The Remedy. This album is really, really good. If you like Fate's Warning, this is sort of more melodic Fate's Warning, a little less proggy at times. It's more on the hard rock side, but all the songs are really good. I highly recommend this album. If this is really good stuff, and Ray sounds great. So I'm gonna check this out.
I can think of nothing that I'd rather do than shake this golden embrace. I would sacrifice, beg, steal, or borrow
Ray.
Makes it all worth the suffering. No, I wanna breathe your midnight air. I wanna feel what isn't there. And now I'm starting to think, I'm starting to understand just what it takes to live. And you're the remedy.
I
What
have
do
an
you think of
update.
that?
I have an update. It's not
Okay.
A to Z. It's actually Alder through Zonder. I'm dead serious. It's technically. I knew it was something like different. Through THRU.
A through, yes, they do use the through in their socials. Actually, it's A through Z
That was
on
important.
all the
to me.
socials and stuff.
Hey, great sounding drum
Um,
show, huh?
I
Oh,
just want to
it's-
mention real quick to give these guys a shout. Bass guitar is Philip Bino, and keyboards is Jimmy Waldo. I want to mention them because we mentioned the other guys. But yeah, I'm a big fan of this record. It's good stuff.
I love the bass sound, especially in the chorus there. Very punchy, fun stuff. That's my contribution to this.
It sounds
Right
great.
on.
It's good rock music.
Oh, yeah, yeah,
It's
totally.
good.
In
Good
what I
rock
have
stuff.
heard, in what I have heard on this one, usually sophomore albums are not as impactful as their first one. For some reason, this one grooves with me a whole lot better than the first one.
No, it
I-
really does. I think it there's not a bad song on it really. They're all sort of like this kind of thing, rockin', melodic choruses, that kind of stuff, and it's just done well. So I like it a lot.
Ray's voice never gets old, so I like that.
Yeah, how
He's
old
great.
is he? Because he sounds awesome.
I think they're all somewhere in the 60 or about, right? They've got to be.
Yeah.
57.
Yeah.
57
And
years.
and Kyle Graves wrote the review for this one. So of
Who?
course, whatever
KG.
whatever is face warning related, Kyle Graves gets the task
Yeah.
on those things.
He comes out of his
Um,
coffin to
That's
write
right.
review.
Yeah.
Did
All right,
someone
I'm gonna,
say Ray Alder?
So this is a new one that we've never talked about or maybe most people don't even know. We
Oh, yes.
do get a ton of submissions to the general email with people sending in stuff. We try to check out as many as we can. We apologize to all the bands that we don't get to listen to, but it's just too much music out there. Once in a while, one that we check out will be kind of cool. And this is just honestly one that I happened to check out from an email. I don't know how you say the name. I want to say Reubes. Does that sound like it might be correct?
Let's,
I'm
let's
saying Reubes.
close enough.
Reubes.
Reubes?
like tubes.
I don't know. So apparently this guy's a singer, songwriter, guitar player that plays with a bunch of different bands. I think some kind of Pink Floyd tribute band and stuff like that. This is a solo record that he's put out. Check it out. Let's not talk about too much about it first, and just check it out and let me know what you think of this.
Check it out.
The music does start.
A red sun sets over a roaring sea. A fisherman come home cold, the net's empty. Fingers roll, the miners save away. Darkness worse in space, no stars to guide the way. Stealing all of Mother Nature's reserves. Keep this up and we'll get what we deserve. Is this the world that we are living? It's time to
Anyway, there you go. What do you guys think of that?
I
It
love
sounds-
the intro that repeats right there. It's so good.
Yeah, right.
Great vocals, great chorus. Kyle Fagala, I have a question for you. When the guy's walking through, I guess, the abandoned church and everything else, didn't Kyle Graves record videos similar to that for one of the Echoverse songs?
I think you're right.
It's I either get that image in my head or I expect, a knight to pop out of the top of the building saying, "I thought in your general direction." That kind of stuff.
I thought you were gonna ask if this was filmed in Kyle's backyard.
That actually is Kyle. Kyle is Rube. I looked it up, and it is Reubes. It's short for Ruben.
Is it Reubes?
Reubes.
Oh, okay. There you go, Reubes.
Heard it here first.
Yeah. Anyway, it had that similar kind of in that family of Frost, Kite
Yes.
Parade. It
I think
bites
it's the lower
that kind of stuff.
registry in the voice as well.
Kind of like a
You know,
like a Mitchell vocal.
John Mitchell
Yeah.
kind of style of
Yeah,
music.
Very
yeah.
well done. Very well done.
Yeah. So anyway, shout out to Reubes. You can find out more on his socials, I guess, and see what's going on with that. And last, we're gonna close on Arjen Lucassen of
Yeah, I saw
Arion
something.
fame. So listen, this guy has a super big, almost cult following, that fans that just love everything he does. He has a lot of famous records with the Arion stuff, Human Equation and Into the Electric Castle and all those things, and a bunch of other projects. And occasionally he does a solo record. So this is a new solo album. It's called Songs No One Will Hear. The premise that it's a concept, almost all his albums are concept albums too, by the way. So this is a concept album about the end of the world, where it's what if the end of the world was in 5 months? What would you do? And all the songs are sort of like about people dealing with that. And then this is the last song on it. It's a 15-minute song called Our Final Song that goes through a bunch of different sections. I just randomly picked a part here that I think is kind of cool. Of course, there's guest musicians and stuff like that all over these songs on the album. We'll play a couple minutes of it. I mean, obviously it's 15 minutes, so we can't give the whole idea, but
So floating through space, and I'm watching with nice and heavy. Nice.
His endless days filled with
anyway, just to give you an idea of what the song is doing.
mistakes he can't forget.
Dude, I've
Um,
listened to a lot of Arion in the past. When I was first becoming a fan of prog music, they were like all the hype. And there were songs with the guys from Symphony X. There's a song that I love called Dawn of a Million Souls with Russell Allen on the vocals and a solo by Michael Romeo. There's me bringing up Symphony X for no reason, but I've loved their stuff in the past, but it's hard to keep up. There's so many albums and a lot of concepts,
So many.
and you have to
Yeah,
follow
yeah.
the characters and the different singers. It's that kind of music that's a little bit of work to you, and when you're into it, it's the best part about it because you invest so much time into it, and it ends up being a lot of fun. I've always loved the way that he orchestrates like different instruments and the keyboards with the heavy guitars. You chose a particular section there
Yeah.
that I absolutely loved.
Yeah.
The heavy part that Vic was talking about
Oh
in the
yeah.
odd time, and then the solo coming in with the lead guitars is just like amazing, and definitely my favorite thing I've listened to today. And I saw this video pop up on my
Nice.
YouTube feed the last couple days or so, and I was curious, like, what does he mean? Our final song, is that like in real life or a concept? What was he talking about? And I was gonna check it out and I forgot, but I'm glad you,
No,
you
it's
showed it to us.
it's
Yeah.
actually. I mean, it's a unique style. It's in that Symphony X world of music, symphonic metal kind of thing a
Mhm.
little bit. But I mean, for a 15-minute song about the end of the world, like it's pretty cool. It's worth checking out if you have the time to sit with it. It's neat. The video's actually decently well done. And look, Arjen, he's a genius. He's a very talented dude, and really nice guy. He sent us he's in our 10th anniversary for Prog Report video. He sent a greeting, which is really cool. So
Yeah, that's cool.
you know, we've interviewed him a few times. Just the nicest guy. So listen, new stuff from him is always cool. This album comes out also in September, I think around the same time as Between the Buried and Me, and I believe. So you could check that out if you want on YouTube, streaming, and all that stuff. The album's called Songs No One Will Hear.
Very cool.
Kyle, any
We
thoughts
will
on it?
hear.
Songs nobody will hear. That's hilarious.
That's what it's called.
My comment is that. That's amazing. I love that. And
Yeah.
But you know what? People are going to hear it because we just listened to it on this
That's
reaction
right.
podcast. Yeah.
I was-
No, I think
Take that, Arjen.
You
I
were
was
wrong.
watching- I love watching videos of floating through space when Dan's right there. You know, it's kind of a repeating theme for Daniel. You know,
I
Yeah,
guess.
this Transatlantic, the Absolute Universe. That was a very
Yeah.
deep cut reference. But
Thank you,
Sure.
Victor.
Yeah.
I'm sure everyone
Yeah, I
in the
didn't
audience
catch
will
that, but yeah.
understand that. Yeah.
I didn't catch that either, but thank you for clarifying. Okay, everybody. Well, thanks for joining, checking out these songs. Hope you enjoyed what we like. Please leave your comments below. See y'all next time. Bye bye.
bye
Thank
everybody.
you. Subscribe.
Hey, thanks for checking out the podcast. Don't forget to subscribe to our YouTube channel, wherever you get your podcasts. Follow us on all our socials and progreport.com, and we'll see y'all again real soon. Thanks.